It's time to get out of pocket. I'm your host, Michael Davis. We are live on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. And as of now, we're about an hour and 20 minutes away from the NFL season kicking off with the Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I say we're tentatively an hour and 20 minutes away because there is lightning in the area. And that could potentially mean the season opener is on a delay. We'll keep you updated if we hear more about that. But not only are we talking the Cowboys and Eagles matchup for tonight's Thursday night football matchup, but we are also going to be previewing the rest of this weekend's game. So if you're not a Cowboys or Eagles fan, there's probably something here for you, including a couple teams who are probably making the wrong decision at their starting quarterback. Some old faces and new places. Unfortunately for me as a Cowboys fan, we may touch on somebody in that vicinity in Lambeau Field. And we're also talking about the expectations when it comes to quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, who are in head-to-head matchups that could have lasting implications for the rest of the season. But as you can see on the screen, I am joined by the host of Three From Deep, just once a week right now during the offseason, because he has a Sideline Savant, a fantasy football show that is in season 2, airing on Wednesdays at noon. He had podcast Smitty, Shannon Smith, the host of Quick Hits, as his guest. And so, Jason, I'm going to let you sit in the passenger seat for this one, but I want to welcome you in on the ride for Outta Pocket.
I appreciate that. I love being in the passenger seat next to you, man. So let's go. You hear that? I hear football. We have actual football tonight. The football season is starting this week. I'm so excited. There's no more preseason, no more OTAs and all that other stuff. We are ready for some football. So I'm trying to temper my excitement a little bit here because I cannot wait. It has been a long time coming, and the season is finally here. So let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off, and we kick it off tonight with the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if you were up with me at 6 a.m. this morning, talking with Sean, the host of It Stinks and WOD, and from the Grit and Grind show, it was a very early morning. I'm a little more energetic right now because,
coffee. Where's the coffee?
Oh, that's needed in the morning. But we have the Eagles and Cowboys tonight. And while we are going to touch on a lot of the other games this weekend, including rapid fire selections at the very end of our stream tonight, we do want to focus a lot on the game that starts the season off because there's a lot of implications of this. Now, I am not a fan, neither is Jason, of the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl this past year. Jason is a Giants fan. I am a Cowboys fan, not a Jerry Jones fan, but I am a Cowboys fan. But the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. And one of the traditions I love, Jason, is the very first night, the very first game, the Super Bowl champions hosting a game, getting to raise the banner, get the rings. It's quite the pomp and circumstance. And as a Super Bowl champion, you deserve the spotlight on you, and you deserve to ring in the new year. But some of my questions are more geared towards the Philadelphia Eagles and their chances to repeat as Super Bowl champions. Jason, not only has the NFC East not had a repeat division winner in 2 decades,
right,
but the Eagles have 2 Super Bowls to their name, and none of them are repeats. So with this Eagles team, can you, with putting bias aside and subjectively say, could the Philadelphia Eagles be in a position to repeat, or do you think they're going in for a hangover?
Looking at it from the outside, and trying not to be biased as a Giants fan, they have the tools and they have the personnel on paper, especially that offense. That offense is probably one of the most dynamic offenses. Look, when you have Saquon Barkley as your lead running back, voted the number 1 player in the NFL by his peers, you have a chance to win. Jalen Hurts it plays out of his mind a lot of the times. You have two uber dynamic wide receivers. You got tight end position, that offensive line. The questions on defense, I have a little bit of questions, but yes, I mean, this is the NFL. Knock on wood, injuries happen, things happen, teams bubble up, teams slide back. So yes, they can have a Super Bowl hangover. 2022, they missed the playoffs. They were, I think, 11-6, and then they got beat by some kind of tiebreaker. They didn't win a back-to-back Super Bowl in 2007. They won in 2017. They didn't win in 2018, essentially with a lot of the same personnel. The Chiefs were the last ones to do it in 23-24, the Mahomes dynasty era. But before that, it was the 03-04 Pats. So, I mean, repeating in the NFL is extremely difficult with everything going on, the extra game at the end of the year now. I don't see them doing it. I think they have a chance, but the NFC is a gauntlet, and it's going to be tough this year. There's a lot of teams that have gotten better this offseason, and that just in their division. The NFC East is going to be hard for them to win, let alone making the playoffs and getting to another Super Bowl. So they got maybe a 25-30% chance to do it, but it's going to be tough.
Well, and the big question mark, I believe, for the Philadelphia Eagles last year was Nick Sirianni. He was on the hot seat, if people don't remember. But if you look at this team, and I'm putting my bias aside, I do not know how they do it. But this team is loaded because you have Jalen Hurts, and they didn't ban the tush push. And they have Saquon Barkley, who is motivated. You have two elite wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and you have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL if Lane Johnson can stay healthy. And then you look at the defense, that front seven with Zach Bond and Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. Those are legitimate pass rushers and people who can stop the run. And then at corner, Kenyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, I think the secondary is actually the weakest spot of Philadelphia.
A little bit.
But even with those rookies, they overperformed and exceeded expectations last year. Right. So with Philadelphia, I wouldn't be surprised if they got back to an NFC championship game this year. But Jason, I'm going to be honest. I don't see them repeating as division champions because now I don't believe the Cowboys have a chance. A lot of people believe the Commanders have a chance, and that's probably so, Jayden Daniels. But I think Jayden Daniels is going to have a sophomore slump. Jason, I hope you don't get too big of a head, but probably the team that could surprise people is the same type of team that saw the Commanders make the leap they did last year. The New York Giants. If they can really lean into that pass rush, and games are won or lost in the trenches. If they do Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo as a RB1, RB2, I'll be honest.
I'm excited about that.
And we'll talk about this in a second. Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, you need to set them aside, and you really need to see what you have in Jackson Dart, because Dart to Neighbors could be a really great connection. I think the Eagles' chances of repeating as division winners is in jeopardy because the New York Giants might make more noise than people expect.
I think they will, but temper starting Jackson Dart. I am a true believer that rookie quarterbacks should carry a clipboard. So I like the fact, Jackson Dart, the number 2, that's okay. But I really want him to sit and watch Russell Wilson play football. Here you have an opportunity to not really mess this up. The Giants don't have a history right now with the Danny Dimes fiasco. Let Jackson Dart sit behind a Super Bowl champion, Hall of Fame quarterback in Russell Wilson. Watch him, how he handles himself. Watch how he handles winning games. Watch how he handles losing games. Look, you got to learn to lose sometimes in the NFL because you're not going to win every game. So you got to learn how to have that kind of poise and learn how to bounce back for the next week. And Russell Wilson's demeanor as a mentor, I think, is perfect for Jackson Dart, as opposed to an Aaron Rodgers, who is not really a great mentor for someone to sit behind. So this is a perfect situation for the New York Giants to have. We have a quarterback stable with Winston, Dart, and Wilson that is probably one of the best three in the NFL right now. So if someone goes down, you have someone that can step up in there, which is going to be fantastic. But yeah, that the dynamic offense, I am just so worried about that offensive line. The Giants historically just do not have a really good offensive line. They've thrown money at it before and it hasn't worked. So that is suspect right now, but I am over the moon excited about that defense. I think that defense is going to be destructive with Abdul Carter, Burns, Sexy Dexy back there. Oh, man, they are going to cause a ruckus there in New York. That line is going to be ridiculous. So, and yes, Wayne Thomas, bold statement, baby. Prove me wrong. Show me a team that has three quarterbacks in their stables that are better than the Giants three. So,
I mean,
bring
to
it.
be fair,
Bring it.
you're
Who do you
not
got?
you're not starting all three quarterbacks. Like you'd be like, oh, that's
If you have to,
that's
you got, look at how
no.
many teams out there after that first quarterback, they just kind of nosedive on who they got left. So, yes, I'm being a little bit of a homer, but again, they do have a very solid room there. I love it. I have some. This is the best I felt about a New York Giants team in probably the last 6 to 8 years. So I'm
Wow.
excited. I am tempering my excitement a little bit because, again, the Eagles are ridiculously tough. They have a juggernaut offense. Sirianni has something to prove. I think that moment when he sat on the sideline with Saquon Barkley about him, I think it was either getting 200 yards or breaking a record. He went and talked to him and said, "Feed the ball, give the ball to the young guys." And just that moment that they caught him on camera with that interaction with Saquon Barkley, I think that turned everything around for the Eagles. I think that turned the fire Sirianni things away. They went, whoa, like that was an awesome moment. So I think that really hit home with the Philadelphia fans. I don't think he's going to have that this year. So you talk about going in feeling a lot better, but I've talked about this before. Look, NFL head coaches coach for their jobs every day because you get an owner that just gets a bug up there, whatever. They can turn around and fire you if you go 0-5 or have a bad streak or, you get something going on. So NFL stands for not for long. And that's not just with players, it's for coaches too. So these guys, you talk about Brian Dable, he's coaching for his job this year too, but they all are. So the Eagles, the Commanders, a great story. So that NFC East is loaded. It's going to be probably, besides the North, the NFC North, I think is probably going to be one of the best divisions in football.
And NFC East could be deep. And guys, you can be commenting live just like Wayne is, saying that Flacco, Sanders, Watson might be one of the best three. Sean was on Cowboys Morning Brew with me earlier today at 6 a.m. bright and early.
Shout out.
He did Morning Brew with me, taught this Eagles Cowboys game. And Wayne is actually a Commanders believer when it comes to the NFC East. So, I mean, hey, we have any sort of way around that. Cowboys, Giants, Eagles. Wayne's not a Commanders fan. He's a Ravens guy.
That's
but
weird.
He believes in, not too far from Baltimore is Washington, D.C. But I wanted to touch on this a little bit because it is the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, whether it is for better or worse, they are always in the headlines thanks to Jerry Jones. And they've been in the headlines recently because of Micah Parsons' contract negotiations that turned south, and they trade Micah Parsons away to the Green Bay Packers. But with this team, they are still really talented. They have Dak. with CD Lamb and George Pickens. Anytime Dak has had two legitimate receivers, he has performed well. And the defense still, they do have some pass rushers that if they had Micah Parsons, it'd look a lot better. But they have Dante Fowler, Donovan Ezraku, Marshawn Nealon, Sam Williams, and they have some corners. DeRon Bland getting re-signed, Trayvon Diggs, who is healthy, and they go for this game. But you start looking at this Cowboys schedule, right? And you have the Eagles tonight, which is a huge, huge test. And you obviously have the Commanders and you have the Giants. So that's 6 of your 17 games. And the other games fill out with the NFC North and the AFC West. You could really make the point, and also filling it out with the Carolina Panthers and New York Jets. You could make a case that the Dallas Cowboys may not be winning the NFC East, may have more drama and more headlines, but what does this season realistically look like? Because with Brian Schottenheimer in his first year as a head coach, I know the odds are stacked against him, but he's going to have something to prove. His father was a legendary head coach, Marty Schottenheimer, and he has Dak Prescott, who's 2 years removed from being second in MVP voting behind Lamar Jackson, who honestly deserved the MVP more last year than he did 2 years ago. It's not all doom and gloom. This isn't a Cleveland Browns team where your best 3 quarterbacks are Joe Flacco, Shadur Sanders, and Deshaun Watson, Wayne. But you do have a team that is just facing an uphill battle with the NFC East and has a tougher schedule. So, Jason, what are your realistic expectations? Everybody dogs on the Cowboys. They're either like, this is our year, or laughing that the Cowboys are so terrible. Are we seeing them compete for a wild card spot? Are we seeing them kind of out of the playoff picture by December? Where are we leaning on the Cowboys?
Man, that's tough. Yes, George Pickens was a great grab, as long as he stays out of his own way and stays on the field. Look, the Cowboys have 2 huge questions right now, and that are going to drive this team, because this is the NFL. Let's be real. I know certain teams have a better squad on paper, whatever, but when it's all said and done, this is why we play the games, is to win. And there's been a lot of teams that have not been picked to win that have turned around and won seasons. We've had, the old school Rams, with Kurt Warner and an unknown guy named Tom Brady coming in and playing with the New England Patriots after they thought they were dead. So, I mean, there's been some teams out there that have shocked the world, but this team rests on Dak Prescott's shoulders right now. This is the most important season I think Dak Prescott has ever had in his NFL career, because right now this team has no identity. They are letting the Twitter fodder get to them, the Jerry Jones drama get to them. They need someone to break that and come in there and be a leader. And right now, that needs to be Dak Prescott. He needs to lead that offense and score some points and keep that team keep that offense on the field and keep the defense off the field so they can find their identity. Because that's the second thing. Now that Micah Parsons gone, look, he ain't coming back. You're done. That's it. Let's wash it. Get over it. This is the NFL. Things happen. But who's going to step up and be that team's next man up? Where are they going to get that defensive identity now that Micah Parsons gone? Who's going to be the guy that they look for to drive them and to be the vocal leader on that team? So I got a couple questions for you, because you keep asking me questions about these Cowboys. You're the Cowboys fan, so I'm gonna ask you a question. Is this Dak Prescott's last year in Dallas if he does not perform well?
And Podcast Smitty saying, "What's good, fellas? Good to see Prez finally. Hey, appreciate it. It's been quite the time. Obviously, I got rid of all my Cowboys.
It'll
Most
be
of the
back.
Cowboys gear. It might be
It'll
back.
be
Who
back.
knows?
It'll
It
be
depends how tonight goes.
But hey, let's go. I want to hear your. Let's see. Is Dak Prescott's last year if he does not perform well in Dallas?
Dak is staying. I don't understand the media's perception of Dak Prescott because Dak is staying. Like he just got paid to be the $60 million man, and he's literally 2 years removed from his MVP year. Like he was second in MVP voting behind Lamar. I think Dak deserved it more that year than Lamar. I believe Lamar deserved it more this past year than Josh Allen. So to think that Dak Prescott is just gone this year is hard for me to wrap my head around.
Nobody thought Parsons was going to go. So, I mean, look at nobody's safe on that team. So, I mean, that's why, I mean, it's a legitimate thought.
I will say that. And Drew Code Sports Talk, Cody saying thinks Cowboys trade Dak if he doesn't do well, but he loves the new background. And I agree with Michael. Dak has never been the problem. He really hasn't. Like everybody will scrutinize Dak Prescott because he's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Right. That holds like the most prestigious position in the NFL. Same thing that Tony Romo dealt with. And this is the curse of following up the likes of Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman. Like you have such a spotlight on you that Dak Prescott just tries to carry well. He is a team leader. He is a quarterback for America's team. And the difference between him and Micah, as much as they shouldn't have traded Micah hadn't agreed to a contract yet. Micah had not agreed to a contract yet. Dak has. They are locked in to Dak Prescott for the duration of that contract. And notably, Dak's contract ends at the same time CeeDee Lamb's contract ends. That ends at the same time as Brian Schottenheimer's contract ends. So what that tells me is they are giving this a go. Brian Schottenheimer, unless the wheels completely fall off, is staying after this year. Dak Prescott, unless the wheels completely fall off, he's staying this year. CeeDee Lamb, he's staying. Okay, I don't see a scenario where Dak's gone.
Well, coaching-wise, Jerry Jones has shown a lot of loyalty throughout the years with Jason Garrett and a lot of leniencies, Mike McCarthy, etc. So I don't think coaching is a problem. But when it comes to players, Jerry does what Jerry wants to do. And that's my other question. I had podcast committee on Three from Deep the other day, and we did kind of a mashup because there was a lot of similarities with the Luka trade and then now the Parsons trade. Poor Dallas fans just get it and getting it both ways. And we talked about like, you can fire GMs for making bad moves and stuff. But when is it okay for fans to start wanting to fire their ownership? I mean, you look at Jerry Jones, he's been an owner for a long time. He's taken the Dallas Cowboys to Olympian heights. He has made them one of the most valuable franchises in sports, let alone just in the NFL. So phenomenal businessman. But when it comes to personnel and some of the different things, he's a showman. He's a ringmaster. He is the Vince McMahon of the NFL. When is it enough from the fans' perspective? Look, you are a Cowboys fan. You put your heart and soul into this team. You put your money into this team with jerseys and going to games and that kind of stuff. When do the fans go, look, Jerry, we got it. Look, Jerry, we got enough. Like, when is it enough? When are the fans going to speak out? And as an owner, should you listen to your fans when they're that passionate, or do you just continue to do whatever you want because it's your team?
I believe fans are already fed up with Jerry Jones. It really, I feel like everybody blames anybody because you have to put the blame somewhere. Again, with Dak Prescott, you have to put the blame somewhere.
Right.
And social media will overreact. But I did feel a genuine turn of events when Jerry Jones was handling the media last year and was threatening to fire a radio host because he was asking legitimate questions. There were various things that just made people really realize, like, oh, Jerry Jones is not like the greatest human being in the world. And he's not really focused on winning. He's focused on making money. And so I believe fans have already sold their stock on Jerry Jones. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys and the NFL endeavor is more about making Jerry money. As long as the Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in the NFL, which will be like that doesn't change, then Jerry would be more concerned then. Like, why are we
Right.
losing our value? Why are we losing the monetary financial gain from this? Jerry's main focus is money, not football. And I believe as Cowboy fans of the football product, we're suffering because of that.
I'm just surprised you don't hear more of that. You know, when Luca got traded, you saw the protests, you saw the verbal outcry. When Micah gets traded, when Jerry does Jerry things, it's kind of made fun of. It's through the news, but it's almost like Jerry Jones doesn't care because, again, you're talking about the Cowboys, and to me, that's one of the main reasons why Micah walked and wanted to get traded and didn't want to negotiate is he didn't want to play Jerry Jones's games. So that to me is as a fan looking from the outside. Again, I don't have any skin in the game as far as a Cowboys fan. But when I look at it and I go, man, my ownership does that. I'm a fan. I'm paying to watch you. I love and support this team, and you go do these kind of things. To me, that's just a huge turnoff. So I'm surprised you haven't heard more outcries about, hey, Jerry, you know, go be an owner and step away and let somebody run this team. I really am shocked that you don't hear more.
Yeah, and we're receiving news about the inactives. The official inactives have been released for tonight's Cowboys and Eagles game. And I'm going to read off these, starting with the Philadelphia Eagles. Who is inactive for this is Aziz Ojulari, the edge rusher, as well as Ogbo Okoronkwo, quarterback Tanner McKee, which is probably a third emergency quarterback that a lot of NFL teams do. Offensive linemen, Drew Kendall, Cameron Williams, and Kenyon Green, as well as defensive tackle Ty Robinson. So looking at that Philadelphia depth chart, a lot of their starters, a lot of their key players are healthy, active, and ready to go. For the Dallas Cowboys, defensive tackle Perion Winfrey was inactive and was hurt this week in practice, so he will miss tonight's game. We have offensive lineman Trevor Keegan, Hakeem Adeniji, and standout in preseason, Johnny Cornelius, who made the 53-man roster. He is out. Linebacker Shamar James is out. Shamar James was making plays in the preseason and earned himself a spot on the roster. He's a rookie. Another rookie out is Jadon Blue,
I'm
which
surprised about that.
I am not happy about. Jadon Blue has been kind of nursing injury, but he seemed to be healthy. This is a coach's decision to have Jadon Blue miss tonight's game. So the only active running backs will be Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, a former Eagle, and fullback Hunter Lipke. Jadon Blue and Phil Maffa are both out for this game. And one major note is not due to injury, but due to a coach's decision. Former first-round pick Mozzie Smith has been made inactive for this game, which means Winfrey and Mozzie Smith are out. So 7th-round pick rookie Jay Toya will be active for this game, as well as Solomon Thomas, Osa Odigizua, and new Cowboy from the Micah Parsons trade, Kenny Clark. Meanwhile, Mozzie Smith is deemed inactive. Jason, a couple of these things stand out to me. One, with this injury report coming out, or the inactives being listed, the Eagles are pretty much at full strength. They don't have any injuries. They are running this at full strength, and that does not bode well for the Cowboys on the road tonight. But another thing I notice is the Cowboys just gave up a lot of speed by inactivating Jadon Blue Something that I would have preferred them do is make Ryan Florney, a guy who got pulled up from the practice squad, making him inactive, making Buddy Johnson inactive, making one of the corners inactive, like a Trick Bridges or a Reddy Stewart. And Mozzie Smith being inactive as a coach's decision just really tells me that Mozzie Smith and whatever hopes there was as a first-round pick is done, because they are putting their stock in Kenny Clark, who has been on this team a week, versus Mozzie Smith, who was a first-round pick 3 years ago. I mean, it looks over for Mozzie Smith.
Yeah, that's going to be, man. You talk about that defense, again, lacking an identity there in Dallas, going against that high-powered offense is going to be a tough hill to climb for the Dallas Cowboys. And yeah, Jadon Blue, and I was excited about him. When with fantasy football right now, you look for rookie running backs, you look for that next big guy, and I had him high on the board just because of his explosiveness, because of his speed. The change of pace kind of back. Javonte Williams, a lot of questions coming out of Denver. Can he carry the rock and be the lead running back? Miles Sanders, I think the years have gone by him. So it would have been nice to have Blue as kind of a safety valve / you're going to need to put points on the board. Look, the Philadelphia Eagles can drop 30 on you real quick, especially with the issues right now Dallas is having on defense. So they're going to need somebody, that's going to be able to step up. And, you got Pickens, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Ferguson, the tight end. But, after that, you're going to need somebody else. Turpin, he may be able to get in there and do some jet sweeps or something, catching a ball out of the backfield. But Dallas is going to need to put some points on the board, because I don't know how much they're going to be effective against that Philadelphia Eagles offense.
And you talk about Turpin potentially being a guy, he could line up in the backfield, but just looking at what Jadon Blue could bring as a rookie and with his speed, could have been a game changer, especially like giving Blue maybe at least a dozen touches in this Eagles game. It could have meant the world to this team, who really needs to come out swinging with their best punch, because the Cowboys can't afford to just lay a goose egg tonight.
No, this is going to be pivotal on how this season goes. If they can come out and fight, look, this is not a win or lose game. Look, it's the first game of the season. Let's not overreact. Nobody's going to go 17-0. You're going to have those off games, but body language, the way the offense is going to flow, again, an identity on defense. Are they going to be able to put some pressure on the quarterback? Are they going to be able to kind of make Hurts uncomfortable? Are they going to be able to make some plays? Are they going to come out of this game feeling good about themselves and like, hey, we have some things to build on, but hey, I feel good, win or lose? Or are they going to come out of this thing dejected? The sky is falling. You don't want to lose the season game one. And this is going to be very important for the Cowboys, because they're on an emotional roller coaster right now. And this is going to be interesting to see how this game plays out, because it could end badly. I don't know. We're gonna find out. This is why they play the game.
And another thing to note, the Cowboys didn't play a lot of their starters in the preseason. So this will basically be preseason for the starters, trying to get that chemistry down. So it is very important that they are firing on all cylinders. And maybe these inactives weren't the best decisions, but we'll look at that in hindsight, being 2020. Right. But while this game is tonight, we are going to be predicting this, as well as some other games at the end of Outta Pocket in a rapid fire segment. But wanted to touch base on some of the other things to look for opening weekend. Tonight, the Cowboys and Eagles open the season, but we have another game tomorrow. before Sunday, we had the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Los Angeles Chargers. And this game isn't in LA, it's not in Kansas City. This game is actually in Brazil. Now, Jason, these quarterbacks are two very distinctly different quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes has gotten to the promised land.
A little
He
bit.
won a Super Bowl, but there are higher expectations for Patrick Mahomes to where now it's Super Bowl or bust for Patty Mahomes. For Justin Herbert, he's always been considered a top 5 or at least a top 10 quarterback in the NFL by a lot of people. I hold my own opinion that is right. He is not a top 5 quarterback, and I am not out of pocket for that.
No, you're fine.
But for Justin Herbert, if he were to make an AFC championship game this year, that would be huge for him. So what is more likely / who needs this more? Would it be Patrick Mahomes getting back to the Super Bowl, or would it be Justin Herbert going with Jim Harbaugh to the AFC championship game?
Oh, that's easy. This is all Herbert. I mean, look, Patrick Mahomes has the rings. He's already got the fanfare. I think they've already got him locked in Canton. I think they already made the gold jacket. I mean, I got a tan jacket on, but I think they already got the gold jacket for him. So he really has nothing to prove. Herbert has a lot to prove because moving forward, are the Chargers going to continue to keep him on this roster? Or if they fizzle out again, like the Chargers normally do, is it time to move on from Justin Herbert? So lots of questions. Jim Harbaugh, lots of questions on that coaching staff. Does he deserve to stay in the NFL? Or if they have another losing season, don't make the playoffs, there's going to be questions about him sticking around in the NFL. Does he need to go back to college? So this is all about the Chargers. This is a very important season for them. This is a pivotal season for them. You know, they have some changes on that offense. Dynamic rookie in the as far as running back in Hampton. I love him fantasy football wise. Najee Harris, you know, we'll see how he does coming off the little bit of the injury coming to his eye. I love if you're, again, guys, fantasy football, if you are drafting or have drafted, go out and trade for Lad McConkey. I love Lad the Impaler. I think he reminds me of Steve Largent. He is just an unbelievable talent. So they have some talent on that team. But it all starts at the quarterback position. If he does not get them there, or at least really, really close, they may look at moving on from Herbert next year. Got to do something, man, in this league. Again, it's not for long, and you have to produce, especially at the dollars that the quarterback position is commanding right now to be a top tier quarterback. If you want that 40, 50, $60 million a year, you better do something special. So he better be in the MVP conversation, and he better get to the championship game. He's got to do something, because if not, it's just going to be the same old Chargers again. And look, they went through this with Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers was a really, really good quarterback, just could never get there. And that's going to be the knock against the Chargers, I mean, as an organization. So, yeah, this is more important to him. Patrick Mahomes, he's good. He's got house money right now. He's good. He's getting ready for Taylor Swift's wedding. He ain't worried about that. He's going to be Travis Kelce's best man and all that other stuff. So they're those guys, they got their rings. You know, they can have a dud season and move on, and turn it around and come back next year. So, but yeah, this is all about the Chargers.
Well, Jason, I see your point. And when it comes to Justin Herbert and maybe the Chargers looking elsewhere, again, I am not a big Justin Herbert believer, but they are locked into his contract with a potential out around 2029. Giving him a 6-year, $245 million deal was not wise, not wise at all. But to each their own, if they truly believe in Justin Herbert being that guy. But I mean, Justin Herbert, if you look at the team around him, he has Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris, 2 running backs that could prove vital. Lad McConkey is really their only true receiver, but they have one of the best defenses in the NFL last year, and they could continue that success this season. But for Justin Herbert, that defense could carry him to the AFC Championship game, and they could lose or win even. And I wouldn't change my opinion of Justin Herbert unless it's him actually doing it, which is why I actually believe it's more pivotal for Patrick Mahomes to
Really?
get to the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
And it's because we are looking more at Patrick's legacy than we are Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert isn't even in the conversation as one of the greats.
No.
There are 3 quarterbacks who have 4 or more Super Bowl wins. Tom Brady with 7, more than any franchise in NFL history. Joe Montana with 4, Terry Bradshaw with 4.
Yep.
Okay. The only other people with 3 or more wins is Troy Aikman or Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes turns 30 here in 2 weeks on September 17th. And he is already a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time MVP. Patrick Mahomes is chasing greatness. If there is anybody who can potentially touch Tom Brady and his 7 Super Bowls, it could be Patrick Mahomes. And for him to get it in his prime, he needs to start racking up these Super Bowls. Like, if he puts himself in that territory of 4 Super Bowls at the age of 30, we're going to start talking about him in the light of passing Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback of all time.
You can't do that, though. You can't. Patrick Mahomes should not be worried about touching Tom Brady because look at Tom Brady, 7. I mean, think of that. 7 Super Bowls. He's been to 10 Super Bowls. 10. That is insane. No other quarterback in history has even remotely come close to that. So you're talking about is something almost impossible to do. This is like trying to get Bill Russell's 11 rings. If you look at, I understand if you want to be great and you want to strive for greatness, you got the mama mentality. You want to win the chip every year. I get it. That's great. But if he doesn't win 4, I mean, you've already done something that a lot of great quarterbacks haven't done. Dan Marino would give anything to have 1 Super Bowl. Warren Moon. I wrote some of these names down. Warren Moon, Fran Tarkenton, Dan Fouts, Jim Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls, couldn't win 1. So what Patrick Mahomes has done already in his career is better than 90% of the Hall of Famers plus in Canton. So don't chase ghosts because you're going to set yourself up for disappointment. Relax, take it season by season, game by game, go out there and play and enjoy your greatness and be one of the great players of this game. Don't chase somebody, write your own legacy, be who you are. But you're not going to do that. Like, there's no way. It is going to be impossible. I don't think we'll see anything like what we saw with Tom Brady in our lifetime. It's that much of an anomaly.
And I love Tom Brady. I think he is the GOAT right now. But for Patrick Mahomes, it would mean a lot for him, especially if you look at, comparing Justin Herbert and what's around him. Like I mentioned, Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris, like a 2-pound running back room. You have Lad McConkey, who was really great last year, and you have one of the best defenses. Patrick Mahomes is doing this with Rashee Rice, who's suspended for at least 6 games, right? Maybe 8. Right. You have an aged Travis Kelce, who is looking forward to being married more than anything else.
He's
a
picking
makeshift offensive line.
Picking out silverware.
This would be if Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl this year, especially after what happened last year in the Super Bowl to Philadelphia and coming back for a revenge Super Bowl year. I mean, that's 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. But that is remarkable. And doing that Super Bowl would mean so much more to Patrick than an AFC West or an AFC Championship game by Justin Herbert.
Look, right now, Patrick Mahomes is also attached to Andy Reid, who is going to go down as one of the best coaches in the NFL. They're going to lose by 20 more points, but we're going to talk about that. I'm not going to.
Hey, appreciate you, Alex. Thank you for watching. And please don't lose by 20.
Yeah. Look, I'm curious to know, because look, Tom Brady got a ring without Bill Belichick, but Bill Belichick and Tom Brady together made that dynasty. Right now, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and his play. Look, the Chiefs last year made the Super Bowl with probably one of their worst teams that they've had in the Patrick Mahomes era. They couldn't catch a football to save their lives. They had a non-existent running game. Patrick Mahomes and their defense got them to the championship, but Andy Reid was there too. So a lot of this really rests on how long Andy Reid's going to last, because is Patrick Mahomes going to do the same thing with a different coach? So again, temper those expectations, man. We're talking about going to Mars here, and Patrick Mahomes is going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks to play this game. What else do you need to do? There's only a handful of those people that can even be mentioned in that sentence. So take that and run with it. Don't worry about your legacy, because you've already kind of like cemented that. So I mean, yes, if he gets another Super Bowl victory, that'll be huge for him. But if looking at it in the bigger context, this is more important for Justin Herbert, because you got quarterbacks out there. We will talk about it here in a minute with Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. You got a lot of quarterbacks out there that are trying to make their own legacy. Patrick Mahomes already has his.
And with their legacy, especially with Patrick Mahomes having his, Justin Herbert needs a AFC championship game at the very least. But there's some quarterbacks who are not even starting yet. The Cleveland Browns and New York Giants. I mentioned earlier how the Giants needed to rely on Jackson Dart, and they need to put him in as opposed to Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. And then Shedeur Sanders, Wayne talking about the quarterback room in Cleveland of how, this is Joe Flacco's team. Give me a break. You have two organizations, two franchises that just need hope and need a lot of help.
Don't wrap us into the being with the Browns. I mean, come on. Dude,
we're wrapping you in. We're wrapping you in. You chose Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley.
We made a mistake.
And Daniel Jones is in Indianapolis.
How many mistakes have the Cleveland Browns made? Let's look at the list of quarterbacks the Cleveland Browns have drafted. And let's go so the Giants, we have a few years where we made some mistakes, but we also have some championships on the wall. And I seem to remember we got a few championships since those Dallas Cowboys have won too. So
okay.
Look, the Cleveland Browns should have started Sanders. Right now, you talk about a fan base and a franchise that has been starving for somebody to cheer for. And Shedeur Sanders walked in the door. He had a pretty good first game. Look, I know he's going to have some struggles, but I think that city would have rallied around him. Instead, look, Joe Flacco, his best years are behind him. Look, I mean, and I think he's going to be serviceable for the Browns. He may catch a lightning in a bottle one game or something like that, but Shedeur Sanders should be starting for the Cleveland Browns. Bless you.
Thank you.
He should be starting for the Cleveland Browns, because that city, you talk about a fan base that loves their team, even though their ownership is one of the worst in franchise history. That city needs to rally about somebody, and Shedeur Sanders over both of these guys should be starting more than Jackson Dart. Look, we have Russell Wilson, who should have 2 Super Bowl rings, but we're not going to go there. He's got someone he can sit behind. You don't have to rush him out there and just throw him against the wall and then end up with like an Anthony Richardson situation, who should have never been a starter in the NFL until he was ready. We see how that's ending up right now. But Shedeur Sanders should be the starting quarterback, which I still believe he will be. I'm thinking game 3, game 4, you will see Shedeur Sanders out there as a Cleveland Browns starter, because that city needs him. They really do. They haven't had any excitement until they, since they rallied around Baker Mayfield. They are starving for it. So, but no, Jackson Dart, he's good. He's got a great situation. Sit back and learn. You don't need a dartboard, clipboard. Sit back there, chill out, learn the game of football behind a Hall of Fame quarterback.
And that's what I'm saying is like there could be so much excitement if you include Shedeur Sanders in week one, if you include Jackson Dart in week one. The older veterans aren't going to do much, especially since these teams aren't in a position to compete and challenge for a championship. I know the Giants are my dark horse for the NFC East, but it's all dependent on Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders starting to where it's like, oh, we can actually make noise with these quarterbacks. But one of the rookies that are starting this year is Cam Ward. Mm-hmm. We have Cam Ward playing for the Tennessee Titans against the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. Jason, how do you see that one working out?
I have never seen a number one quarterback with the least amount of fanfare since Cam Ward. Like, nobody is literally, I mean, we're talking about him, but you would think this would be a huge story. Like, this is not even like on anybody's radar right now, which is baffling to me. A number one quarterback picked, and it's not like leading any of the shows. It's not a big topic on any of the shows, which is crazy. So right now, Cam Ward, again, playing with house money, go out there, learn a game of football. Right now, he has zero expectations. Just go out there and don't get hurt. Go have some fun. You got Ridley at wide receiver, who I think is going to be a number one wide receiver. Again, fantasy football guys, go out there and get Calvin Ridley. I think he's going to be a very underrated number one wide receiver. He's going to get you some points. I have questions in that run game, Tony Pollard, and then it falls completely off. Again, an old cowboy, but right now the Tennessee Titans are playing with house money. They don't have any expectations, and there's no fanfare. There's no drama behind it. Like, there was more drama behind, who's starting for the Browns than the number one pick in the NFL. So, I mean, it's kind of baffling to me that Cam Ward is not getting as much plug as he should be.
And he should, because I feel like Cam Ward does have a difficult task this week against Denver. Again, one of the better defenses last year. But it's going to be exciting. And I feel like with him starting, Cam Ward starts the season with the Broncos and then follow that up with the Rams. The Colts will be a little bit of a cupcake, but then they have the Texans right after. So this is going to be not the hardest and not the most impossible start to a rookie season for a quarterback, but we are going to see him get tested, and we are going to see Cam Ward be forced to make plays to elevate his teammates, and we're going to see a lot of what Cam Ward could do. Maybe we see what we saw out of Miami last year when he was with the Hurricanes, or maybe we see, okay, like this Tennessee team needs time to rebuild, but they freely gave away Derrick Henry. They freely gave away A.J. Brown. Tennessee's known for ruining their team and their assets, but I am all for starting the youth. And, we're talking about these rookies in new places, but a lot of veterans are in new places as well. You see pictured on the screen if you're watching on Boom Broadcasting's YouTube channel. I know Micah Parsons in a Green Bay Packers jersey. This looks like a auto-generated Madden picture. That's what it looks like. Jason, I know you probably have thoughts on Micah Parsons, but what is your idea of some old faces in new places? Javon Holland is a guy for the Giants who is coming over. Who are some players?
Russell Wilson. I mean, we got to throw him in there, but there's a lot. I mean, especially in the East, you got Deebo Samuel over there with the Commanders. But the one guy I'm really looking at, and again, I kind of look at this also too from a fantasy football perspective, sideline savants plug. But DeAndre Hopkins I can't spit it out. DeAndre Hopkins in Baltimore is going to be a great pickup for that team. He finally has himself a really good quarterback. DeAndre Hopkins has gone through his career with not a lot of great quarterbacks in his stable. So I'm really, really excited to see what he does. He's going to have Zay Flowers there, Andrews, Henry. So, I mean, that's a dynamic offense. So he's not the number one guy anymore, doesn't need to be the number one guy anymore. But, guys, again, fantasy football, go out there and pick up DeAndre Hopkins. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. He still can catch the football, he can still make plays, and he's still a deep threat. So watch out for DeAndre Hopkins in Baltimore. I think he's going to be phenomenal. So you talk about an old face in a new place here. And there's a lot of them out there too. Another sleeper you got to look out for is Palmer out there in Buffalo. Look, Josh Allen is dying for a wide receiver besides Shakur. Now that Diggs is gone. So Josh Palmer coming over from the Chargers, I think he's another one that I'm excited about. I think he's going to make a little bit of a name for himself. And I think Buffalo's going to be very excited that Josh Allen's going to have someone to throw the football. So I got a couple of them out there, but my biggest one is D-Hop, man. I think he's going to be phenomenal for the Ravens. He has a good quarterback to throw him the football, and he is still a dynamic player.
And I really do like DeAndre Hopkins. I would love to see DeAndre Hopkins just turn back the clock, because how dynamic of a team would you have with
Henry,
Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and DeAndre Hopkins?
Yep.
One that's a dynamic trio. If you can get 1,000 yards from D-Hop. But then you include Zay Flowers, you include Rashad Bateman. This
Andrews.
Isn't
I mean,
Mark
they got
Andrews.
Mark Andrews. I mean,
Isaiah likely could continue to step up. I know he had like a splash opening week and then he just fell off. But dude, I mean, and then
my heart wants that Ravens Giants Super Bowl matchup. I want a rematch, and there was a 2000 Super Bowl with the Ravens whooped up on the Giants. So I'm liking to see that matchup this year. I want to see the Ravens and Giants get back to the Super Bowl this year.
But you have really good players on the Ravens, especially defensively. You have Malachi Starks, Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander is a player that I would like to see in a new place because he was kind of disrespected by Green Bay. Who knows what that Packers team would look like with Jair Alexander and Micah Parsons teaming up together. I gotta be biased though. I want to see George Pickens. I am very excited to see George Pickens because two things. One, this might be the only year we see George Pickens in a Dallas uniform. So might as well make it count.
Yeah.
And two, he is in a contract year. He wants to get paid next year. He says he wants to get paid like a number one receiver. So that already tells me he doesn't want to return to Dallas. His agent is the same one that Micah Parsons had. That tells me he's not returning to Dallas. George Pickens is going to go off this year. And so I think George Pickens is going to have his best year of his career. And again, it's just going to be short-lived because, I mean, he's gone after this year. But, might as well enjoy it while it lasts. And so I know we talked a little bit about the Baltimore Ravens, and it is 8:00, so we are inching closer. We have not heard if this Dallas Cowboys game is going to be delayed. There was lightning in the area, but we are under no impression that this game is being delayed. It should still start around 8:20. We are trying to get you guys out of here, but want to talk about this Monday Night Football game. The Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens. Thankfully, they're not doing this doubleheader on Monday night. That's kind of lame. But we have the Bills and Ravens. This is a Sunday night, by the way. The Monday night game is going to be Minnesota and Chicago. But, dude, we just talked about Justin Herbert needing a big season. We just talked about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has prevented Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson from being there. Lamar won the MVP 2 years ago. Josh Allen won it the year last year. who needs a ring more? I mean, I feel like Buffalo and Baltimore are two teams who can have really strong regular seasons, but unless they make that next leap and get into the Super Bowl, it's not going to matter for either one of these. Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, who do you feel needs a ring more? And do you feel like either of these quarterbacks are set up with the team to do it this year?
I think Lamar Jackson is set up with the best team right now, especially again on paper. I do like Cook in Buffalo, but again, just some more questions in Buffalo, especially at the wide receiver position. Look, they both do. Look, I mean, they're both in their eighth season. Their trajectories, their careers have kind of really mirrored each other. Again, you talk about two top five quarterbacks in the National Football League, two phenomenal players on the way to Canton. This is important for both of them. Man, I mean, it's hard to pick one guy because Lamar Jackson, look, one of the most dynamic football players we've seen in a long time. He's like Michael Vick plus. He is a phenomenal runner. He can throw the football. He can't get through the playoffs. And that's the same thing with Josh Allen. So look, this happened to Peyton Manning in his career too. Look, Peyton Manning couldn't get by Tom Brady to save his life. I mean, so there was a couple of times where Brady was hurt and Peyton Manning slid by. So this might be that kind of situation where Lamar and Josh better hope someone gets hurt and then they can vault forward and take advantage of that. But they both need this. They both need to get it to a Super Bowl. I think it's more on Josh Allen. Look, Jim Kelly went to 4 straight Super Bowls, which even though he lost them, but as a quarterback in the NFL, nobody else has done that before. So again, a fan base. They got a new stadium that's about to be opened in the next year in Buffalo there. So you talk about Western New York is ridiculously huge, for the Bills. I think it's a little bit more for Josh Allen, but by a hair. These guys are on like the same path, and they both, I don't want to say need a ring, but everything is measured on championships nowadays. You got to have the ring, you got to have the chip. Again, Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, never got a ring, never even sniffed the Super Bowl, but yet are you going to hold that against him? Is he still not a Hall of Fame quarterback? So when their careers are over, you can have those arguments, but right now in the click media that we live in, both of these guys need to get to the promised land and soon, because if not, this may haunt them the rest of their careers.
It really could. And, you talk about Tom Brady winning 7 rings. Well, Peyton Manning won 2. One in Indianapolis, one in the twilight of his career with Denver, because he played in the same era as Tom Brady. You look at Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson playing in the same era as Patrick Mahomes, who has won 3 Super Bowls and been in 5. So it is, and if you look at the amount of quarterbacks in the AFC to reach the Super Bowl as opposed to the amount of quarterbacks in the NFC to reach the Super Bowl, it's night and day. I mean, it's really Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady.
Right.
It's not Josh Allen. It's not Lamar Jackson. With Buffalo, which congrats to Josh Allen, by the way, getting his jersey retired by the University of Wyoming. They announced that a couple hours ago.
Right.
You look at this team, and I really do like James Cook. I do like this defense. They got Shaq Thompson. They got Joey Bosa. They got Ed Oliver. Tre'Davious White I really like at corner. But if you look at the offense, I mean, outside of James Cook, there's nobody reliable. No. Khalil Shakir is in number 1. Keon Coleman, he was okay as a rookie, but he needs to step up. Josh Palmer, who knows? But you look at Baltimore, and you see that Lamar has Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs. He has D-Hop, who, if he can turn back the clock, is great. But Bateman and Flowers and Andrews are really solid offensive line, starting with left tackle Ryan Stanley. And then you look at this defense that have invested in Kyle Van Noy. Go and get a rookie Mike Green. Go and get Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton, one of the best safeties in the game. And then Jair Alexander and Marlon Humphrey. Like, there is no reason, if you look on paper, that the Baltimore Ravens should be doing anything but getting to the Super Bowl. So I believe that it's Lamar Jackson. who needs a ring more. And, if Josh Allen gets a ring, great. He's done something that Jim Kelly never did. But for it to really matter, I think Lamar needs a ring, and they've been put in the best position to do so. Just like Jason, we are in the best position to do some rapid fire picks. So how this will work is I have 8 games for us to predict of the 16 that kick off the NFL season this weekend. But before I do, Jason, I want to get some rapid fire division picks because we have previewed a lot of this season as well as this weekend. But I'm going to go in order, and I'm going to ask you for your division winner, starting with the AFC East.
AFC East division winner is going to be the Buffalo Bills. Dolphins are still suspect. Jets, a lot of questions still. Pats rebuilding. Give me the Bills easy.
That is a very easy pick for the Bills. I've always thought the Bills would, fall off at some point for Miami when they got all that offensive weapons. And the Jets, I really like with Aaron Glenn. But yeah, Buffalo, easy pick right there. What about the AFC North?
Oof. That's a tough one. Man. Come back to that one. I got to think about that one a second. That's a real tough one. Go to the next one.
He's coming back to the AFC North for the Bengals, Browns, Steelers, or Ravens.
That's a tough one.
We'll throw the AFC South. We throw the AFC South at you.
AFC South. Man, that's another one.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, no, I can't spit it out.
I did put him on the spot for these guys.
You did. That's all right. Yeah, I've got, because they're all terrible. Good Lord. Give me the Texans. Yeah. I don't trust the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence was horrendous last year. Colts, Danny Dimes. That's all I got to say about that. And the Titans rookie quarterback. So yeah, give me the Texans, no doubt. CJ Stroud.
I do have doubt because I am picking the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence finally has Brian Thomas. He has Travis Hunter. I really do believe that the Jaguars can surprise a lot of people. And we've started to figure out CJ Stroud. So give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. What about the AFC West? We have the Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers.
You're not gonna believe this one, but I think it's the Broncos. In Bo Nix, we trust. That Broncos defense is ridiculous. I think the Broncos have made themselves better on offense. Give me the Denver Broncos surprising the AFC West. I think the Chiefs slide back. Lots and lots of questions in Las Vegas right there. And the Chargers, I still don't trust the Chargers either. So give me the Denver Broncos, shocking everybody. I think they're going to go far in the playoffs. I really am sold on Bo Nix as a quarterback right now.
That is another tough division. Raiders might have had a better chance if Amari Cooper didn't retire 9 days after returning to the organization that drafted him. But I'm not betting against Pat Mahomes. Not a good idea. Anyone remember the top core rankings last year? Kansas City always remained at 1. They are going to be at 1. Jason, I'm going to let you have the option. Do you want to go to the NFC or do you want to go back to the AFC North?
Let's go back to the North. As much as I want to pick the Ravens, I still think it's the Bengals to win. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow would have been the NFL MVP last year if he only had a sniff of a defense and made the playoffs with how he performed. So give me the Bengals, shocking everybody, winning that division.
You are wrong because it will be Baltimore. Look how stacked that team is. If they don't win that division, I'd be
This
shocked.
is why we play the games, because it doesn't matter what it is on paper, baby. It matters where they play. And I got Cincinnati.
Well, what about the NFC West? We got the Rams, the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. That divisions look different now than it did a few years ago. Who's your pick to come out of the NFC West?
I'm just so disappointed in the Cardinals. The Kyle Murray progression has not been there. Kyler Murray has just not been there. Very disappointed in him. He's got some weapons, but I don't trust them. 49ers, it just came off the my alerts here. Christian McCaffrey bothered by a little calf strain, so he actually showed up on the injury report for this weekend. So now his availability is suspect for Run CMC. But give me the Rams. It's hard to not. I think with Seattle, Sam Darnold, they lost DK Metcalf last year. Jackson Smith and Jigba, is he a number one? Who else they have after that? Their running backs never stay healthy. Give me the Rams. Sean McVay, the McVay effect still works.
All right. Well, I am going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I could see the Rams winning.
Really?
But the Seahawks go and get Cooper Kupp. They have Jackson Smith and Jigba. They got younger.
Kupp's been hurt.
And they're going to rely on Jigba. They got Charbonnet and Walker. When healthy, they are good. Sam Darnold had a resurrection year in Minnesota last year. But it's this defense. I think the big factor is Leonard Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence playing side by side to each other. Jonathan Hankins should also be back in no time. And you have the 12th man still in Seattle. And I don't trust Arizona, especially after losing Clayton Adams. And the 49ers are going through so much turmoil. Sorry, Podcast Medi, they're not reliable anymore. But what about the NFC South? You have the Carolina Panthers, the New Orleans Saints, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It almost rule one of those teams out, but who do you pick to win it?
And again, I'm shocking everybody, and I'm sorry, my man Aaron. He's probably not going to have me on the Gridiron Address anymore, but I'm going the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons address that defense. I think Penix is the answer at quarterback. I love Bijan Robinson. Again, he was the number one rated running back in fantasy football this year. So watch out for him to have a phenomenal season. Drake London. And I really do believe we will have a Kyle Pitts sighting this year. I think Kyle Pitts is actually going to show up and be the top tight end that we think he's going to be. That defense is a lot better with a couple of Georgia Bulldogs that they picked up. So give me the Falcons to win the South.
I'm sorry, it's not going to be Atlanta. Don't buy into the hype.
Buy
in to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the first time ever, I am buying stock into Baker Mayfield because he has Mike Evans, who is always consistent, Chris Godwin, and Emeka Egbuka. Jalen McMillan will come back off IR.
He's still hurt.
I mean, you just have you're not going to lose much. You have Bucky Irvin and Rashad White who are playing well. Cade Otton as the tight end. You have Tristan Wirfs when he comes back. He's listed as questionable for this week. And then you have this defense with Levante David, who is just he's timeless. Hassan Reddick, Antoine Winfield Jr. This Tampa Bay team is going to be a top 3 team in the NFC, and they are going to be really, really good. Just like the NFC North was really, really good last year. You had the Packers, you had the Lions, Vikings, and the Bears. Jason, who is the winner of the NFC North?
This is why I love this stuff, because again, you can see stuff on paper. It looks great. The Lions, the Tigers, the Bears. Oh my. Look, I'm going with the Chicago Bears. I think change at the coaching position. I think Caleb Williams takes a step forward. Again, guys, I keep talking fantasy football, but Rome Odunze, you watch out for him. He is going to be a top 5 wide receiver this year in the NFL. I think this is going to be his coming out party. They got Loveland at tight end, who's going to be something special. Give me the Bears. I think the Lions slip off. Too many expectations. Can't get there again. Look, I love Dan. I would go play football right now with Dan Campbell, and I would literally get killed on an NFL field, but he is that much of a motivator. He is a phenomenal coach. But just, this is the NFL. It's tough to keep winning every year. You're not going to have the same teams winning every year. And I really believe that the Bears got better, and the Bears are coming. So watch out for the monsters of the Midway to win the North.
Sometimes there's great coordinators that aren't great coaches. And I feel like Ben Johnson.
Sometimes there are.
I feel like Ben Johnson could be in that category. The Detroit Lions lost two great coordinators. That usually sets a team back. Minnesota, I believe in
JJ
Minnesota.
McCarthy.
Kevin
JJ.
O'Connell can do anything. But Green Bay, I would not be surprised if Green Bay doesn't win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. Obviously, the Micah Parsons acquisition, but they also made a lot of other moves this offseason. And they keep Josh Jacobs. They draft Matthew Golden. This Packers team is legit. And while Micah Parsons will be in the NFC North, he's not in the NFC East. Jason, you're a Giants fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, but we also have the Commanders and Eagles who were in the NFC Championship game last year. Who wins that division?
Man, you can't put me on the spot like that because you know I have to pick my New York Football Giants. Again, underrated right now. I think I love what they did in the offseason. Eagles fall off. It's hard to repeat. We haven't had a repeat champion in a long, long time. I'm not worried about the Cowboys because, unfortunately, the Cowboys got to get out of their own way. And the Commanders, a great story. But, yes, I do believe that Mr. Daniels has a sophomore slump. I still don't trust Debo to stay healthy. You have scary Terry McLaurin. But after that, questions at the run back game. They traded their running back, Brian Robinson Jr. to the 49ers. You're going to run with Eckler as your number one. That's kind of suspect. So give me the New York Football Giants. That defense and steady quarterback play is going to lead the New York Giants to an NFC East championship. Yes, you heard it. I'm not just being a homer. They have the tools to do it.
Well, if you're taking your own team of the Giants, I'm not going to take my own team of the Cowboys.
I'm going to go Eagles. Face, though.
I'm going to go Eagles. I think the Eagles can repeat as division champions. The roster is there. If they stay healthy, the Eagles are by far the favorite to repeat the NFC East and be the first repeat winners in 2 decades for that division. But, Jason, that's a whole season. But we got to focus on this weekend. We have 8 games I'm going to throw at you, starting with Monday's game, the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. Who wins?
Bears. The Bears. Solid.
It'll be the Vikings. It'll be the Vikings, but don't worry.
And JJ, I don't trust. I got to see something from him first. Rookie quarterback.
You got Kevin O'Connell, so you're just fine.
He ain't throwing a football.
Ravens, Bills, Sunday Night Football.
Ooh, I got Ravens. I think the Ravens win this game. Bills may come out a little bit flat, but Ravens running the football, and Derrick Henry, I trust.
Especially with the Ravens starting this year healthy. I do believe in Baltimore, even though this is in Buffalo. Lions, Packers, NFC North matchup.
Packers. They're coming off. That defense is on another planet right now. They are so high, getting Micah Parsons. Jordan Love. This is his time. Love needs to move forward here. This is his next progression. He needs to get into an NFC Championship game, and he needs to show something coming off of last year, a little bit flat. So give me the Packers.
Micah Parsons, I am going to predict, has 3 sacks in this game, helping the Green Bay Packers to a victory over the Detroit Lions. Up next, you have our NFC East matchup. Not tonight's game, the Giants and the Commanders. Do you believe in your own team?
I do believe in my team, New York Giants. I believe we run the football. Malik Neighbors is on another planet. I think he is better than any wide receiver in that division. And yes, I said that with CeeDee Lamb, Scary Terry, etc. I believe that Malik Neighbors is going to show up and show out. Russell Wilson has something to prove. He was tossed away in Denver, and coming from Seattle, he needs to prove something, and he has something to prove this year. That this is his last year. He knows that he's not going to start next year. He knows he's probably not going to play football next year. So I think you're going to get every ounce of whatever you can out of Russell Wilson. So I believe in him. I believe in that run game, and I believe that defense is going to eat Jaden Daniels for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So let's go Giants.
Well, you can get your hopes up because the Washington Commanders aren't losing this game at home. The
No.
Giants will be better than they were last year, but they got to put a few more pieces together, and
We'll be
that
fine.
will gel as the season comes along. So I got the Commanders winning that game. Well, what about the Steelers and the Jets? Aaron Rodgers playing his former team from the New York Jets as he plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers now, along with DK Metcalf. Who wins, Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh or Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields in the New York Jets?
I have the New York Jets, Strawberry Fields. Let's go. I think the New York Jets are going to have a better season. Still have some questions, but I think Fields, very underrated quarterback. Again, chip on his shoulder, has something to prove. He should have been playing in that playoff game last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he was going to go out there and show people why. That run game for the New York Jets with Hall and Allen is very dynamic. You still got Garrett Wilson. Give me the New York Jets, Jets.
I will say that Justin Fields is going to have a revenge game against the Steelers for not believing in him, and they're going to run the football. Aaron Glenn's going to get this team inspired. I got the Jets as well. What about AFC South matchup? Buccaneers, Falcons. It's my division prediction versus yours. Do you think your Atlanta Falcons go up?
I think they do. I think Bijan Robinson runs for 150 yards and a couple of touchdowns. I see Drake London catching the football. The Atlanta Falcons are coming. The Dirty Birds are back. Watch out, NFC South. I'm sorry. The Panthers just aren't there yet. I need to see more out of Young, but give me the Dirty Birds winning this game.
Well, the NFC South is not going to be decided this weekend, but it might as well be. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going up on the Atlanta Falcons. Tomorrow night, the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending AFC champions, and Patrick Mahomes playing against Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Who wins this AFC West showdown?
Oh, Chiefs. I mean, this is, again, Patrick Mahomes, something to prove. They lost the Super Bowl last year. I think they are angry. Travis Kelce, basically his last season in the league right now. So I think he wants to go out on a high note. Again, I still have too many questions on that Chargers team to see those pieces gel together and see how that's going to work on that offense. Patrick Mahomes has won before, so you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. I can't bet against them. So give me the Chiefs as long as everybody comes out of this game healthy. I have questions on that Brazilian football field because we saw some injuries last year coming out of that game. So a few concerns as long as everybody gets out of there healthy.
Well, pray everybody stays healthy, and you can also pray that the Chiefs win because that is my prediction as well. Again, not betting against the Chiefs. And then we have tonight, minutes away, the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. Jason, who wins this NFC East matchup?
Man, I love you, Michael Davis. I really, really do, man. This is going to be an absolutely ugly game. They're raising the banner. They get in the ring. Yeah, this is Eagles all the way. Fly, Eagles, fly. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit, even just saying that as a Giants fan. But yeah, Cowboys, way too many questions. Will Dak perform? Who's going to be the identity on that defense? But yeah, give me the Eagles right now, man. They just have too much firepower.
Well, Jason, I will say this. I was going to pick the Eagles.
No, you weren't.
But I do want to say that Dak Prescott plays his best games against the Philadelphia Eagles. He is back. This team is in preseason mode. But this is the birthday of Dak Prescott's late mother, September 4th. He is written on his wrist, "Happy birthday, Mom."
Oh, you can't bring Mom into it. Come on now, man. That's wrong.
That in
you
of
can't
itself.
do that. You can't bring Mom into that and expect someone to go, okay, we're going to whoop your... Oh, man.
I am flipping the script.
Oh,
and I was fully prepared to pick the Eagles. I'm going Cowboys now. They are going to be so focused on the championship celebration. Dak's going to be so focused on honoring his late mother. And this pass rushers, the ones that are left, are going to be focused on proving themselves worthy. And this is going to shock people. The Cowboys are going to shock the world by winning tonight. And that
I will be shocked. What's the over/under on tush pushes tonight?
Oh my
You
gosh!
see,
Don't remind me.
four more.
More. Don't
More?
remind
Okay.
me. Don't
Okay.
remind me. But that is not out of pocket. We guys appreciate you for watching Out of Pocket on Boom Broadcasting. Go check out Three from Deep and Sideline Savants from this past week with Jason Colenso. Catch out Cowboys Morning Brew. Cowboys Morning Brew will be back tomorrow morning with a recap of this Cowboys-Eagles game. But this game's starting right now. Let's go watch some football. Football is back.